Country began its revolution to freedom because of, among other things, the unjust taxes that were forced upon the people. Unfortunately, even though we managed to gain our independence from the British, we still haven't been able to solve our taxation issues. Hi, my name is Steve Huntington, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the fair tax proposal that's gaining grassroots support across the United States. I'm not here to tell you how good or bad the plan is, just to give you some brief facts and an explanation of the plan. How the rebate will allow poverty levels to remain tax-free. How the fair tax plan, in theory, could increase jobs, exports, and make American companies and products competitive in the global market. And how supporters think they can increase your wages while keeping the prices of goods the same. I think everyone agrees that our current tax system is beyond repair. In fact, the auditing branch of Congress found that all the exemptions, exclusions, and special favors in the current tax code drain an estimated $728 billion from our government annually. $728 billion is more than we spend on Medicare and Social Security combined. It's also 60% more than our country spends on its defense budget. U.S. Representative Mike Pence states that the current tax code, with its 45,000 pages of regulations and laws, brings a negative impact on the American family. So how does the fair tax plan differ from the income tax system? Well, first, you can virtually eliminate the IRS and its $250 billion in tax preparation every year. Fair tax is a 23% national sales tax. Now, before everyone shuts me out, realize that about 20% of the price we pay for goods every day are embedded taxes passed along to the consumers. Due to the elimination of the income taxes, Social Security, and Medicaid, workers will be able to bring home approximately almost 100% of their check. This means a 15 to 20% raise across the board for most people, which should be enough to jumpstart our economy and pull us out of the recession we're sliding into. Under the fair tax system, the government also sends a prebate to every family in the country. The prebate size is taken by the family size times plus the poverty level times 23% fair tax. The Department of Health and Human Services will determine the poverty level for our family sizes every year. For our example, we're going to use a family of 4. As you can see, the taxes you're expected to spend per poverty level gradually increase. At 100%, you're expected to spend $5,902 per year in taxes. That's also the same amount as the prebate. So in effect, this family at 100% of the poverty level would spend $0 in taxes. Now, if the same family only made 50% of the poverty level, they would only be expected to spend $2,951 in taxes, yet they would still receive the $5,900 rebate, which would in fact give them a negative tax income. For our second example, we still stick with our family of 4, but we'll say they make $100,000 and compare it to our current tax system. We'll see they make $100,000 after the 14% payroll tax and the 20% embedded tax that this family pays. They only have a disposable income of approximately $62,000 at the end of the year. Now, in comparison to the fair tax system, the same $100,000, no payroll tax, no embedded tax, a fair tax of $23,000, but a prebate of $5,900. This family will actually have $83,000 at the end of the year, which is a $20,000 increase under the fair tax system. Now, you may be wondering, why give the prebate to everybody? Why not just give it to those under the poverty level? Well, unfortunately, this goes back to our current tax code, and if someone else can decide who is poor and who to give the prebate to, how long do you think it'll be before a lobbyist is knocking on Congressman's door trying to lobby for their individuals? By giving it to everybody, we assure them that there's no room for loopholes. No one can take advantage of the system. Finally, how is the fair tax system better for business? Well, for every dollar you pay into taxes and Social Security and Medicaid, your company has to match it. By eliminating these taxes that the government has to pay, or companies have to pay, we should be able to save approximately $380 billion. Those $380 billion is the amount of taxes that the business and industry paid last year. Who do you think paid for those taxes? Did Bill Gates take a pay cut, or did he just charge a few dollars more for his product and pass it on to the consumer? Through the Through the implementation of the fair tax system, we can save the $400 billion in taxes, but through the oversimplification of the tax code, we can save much more. In fact, in 2006, companies spent $140 billion just to comply with the tax code. Former presidential hopeful Mike Huckabee thinks that by saving these corporate taxes, the price of American-made goods will decrease by around 20%. Compliance costs are just make work, no real value added, yet they consume as much as 3% of our gross domestic product. These costs are especially heavy burden on small businesses, which generate most of our jobs. Finally, there are the intangibles, immeasurable benefits to the fair tax system. With its implementation, the United States will have the smallest, least confusing tax code in the world. Companies that have moved away, and even companies that have never had a headquarters here, will begin to move back, bringing their high-paying jobs, which will equal more income spent, which will equal more income for the government. Plus, the elimination of the dreaded tax deadline. April 15th will be no more, and the millions of hours lost every year in tax preparation will go away. Finally, there's the 16% of people that don't pay taxes. The estimated $1 trillion underground economy that includes prostitutes, drug dealers, and illegal immigrants. With the implementation of the fair tax system, these people will all be taxed just like a regular citizen are, and will increase our revenue significantly. In review, the fair tax system is a 23% consumption-based tax that replaces the IRS. It allows workers to bring home almost all of their paycheck and eliminates the Social Security, Medicaid, and income tax. Remember, about 20% of the embedded costs in goods we buy today are taxes. And every household will get a rebate to cover the taxes, which is given to everyone, so there's no place for lobbyists to start looking for loopholes. The fair tax system. Is it a good idea for the U.S.? I can't answer that. I'm not an economist or have a PhD in business. As I said at the start of my speech, I'm just here to tell you a little bit about the fair tax proposal in the hopes of piquing your interest, not about this one issue or one problem, but hopefully, as we, the next generation of Americans, begin to take office, we can make the reform needed to make our country financially sound again. Thank you.